What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another exciting episode of the Extraordinary Man Podcast. You guys know what time it is. I am one of the co-hosts of this show. They call me Phil Jones. Mike Jones, have you know me personally and professionally. You guys know El Jefe, the handsomest of all time. State your name.
What is going on, y'all? I am Midas. Make sure you put a king in front of that. Let's go.
All right, so what I want to talk about, King, I want to take you down a rabbit hole. You mind going down a rabbit hole with me real quick, man? All right,
Where you trying to go?
so prosperity, abundance, mindset. These are words that are thrown around all the time. Like we hear these words all the time, all the time. I mean, it's just like you can't go anywhere without somebody trying to tell you about how easy it is to make $1 million. You want wealth, you want prosperity, you want to live in abundance, you want to just be great. Everybody got the road map to get you there. As far as I'm concerned, I believe that some people have good intentions, but I believe the majority of the people who speak this stuff into existence or who speak about these things, they are cashing in on people's vulnerability and their inability to think for themselves. You see, a lot of people, they turn to commercials when they're sick. They start paying attention to these infomercials and are you suffering from headaches, nausea, from this, and this? Yeah. Well, this pill can fix that. Go talk to your doctor today. No, I do have those symptoms. It's like everybody's looking for an answer that is not rooted in taking the long road to recovery. It's like a great deal of people are looking for an answer and they want it quick. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to struggle. They don't understand that this is a process. They want to get to it quick. So therefore, you have a great deal of people who have learned to capitalize off of the slow burn.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to go home and cook a meal, don't worry about it. McDonald's got it right there and they convenient right off the side of the road for you. You tired right now, don't worry about it. There's Red Bull, there's 5-hour energy drink. You don't feel like getting out of the car, don't worry about it. Go Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks, get an extra shot of espresso. Whatever you're looking for, you got all this water that you pay a monthly water bill for, but don't worry about it. You can go pay $3 for a bottle of water already pre-refrigerated right in the store, and you can get it at your leisure. But that's not what we're talking about. So what we're talking about is abundance and prosperity. What are your thoughts on abundance and prosperity, sir?
So I think that what a lot of these individuals that's out there that's selling the whole prosperity and abundance mindset, you know, like you said, they capitalize it on people's vulnerability. Like what they selling is hope, so they're cashing in on people's hope, you know. Hey, you got these symptoms? Yeah, go take this pill. I hope this pill will fix my illness, will fix these symptoms that I am suffering or dealing with right now. And I want the suffering to stop right now. We are living in the age of not only information, but instant gratification. If I put a video out and I don't get 1 million likes on it, I'm done. If I step on the basketball court and I can't dunk, I'm done. If I can't cross you over, I'm done. You know what I'm saying? It's like they want the instant results right here, right now. And that's how they're able to capitalize off you. And then a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, what has changed?
The prosperity gospel is one of my favorite ones. Just because if you actually read the Bible, there's nowhere in it, anywhere that has anything to do with God wants you wealthy, God wants you healthy. There's absolutely nothing in the Old or the New Testament that validates that.
Man, do you know how wonderful that sounds?
You said what?
You know how wonderful that sounds?
Do tell.
Imagine, well, I mean, we see them all the time, but just picture a McDonald's commercial. Since you mentioned McDonald's being on the corner, just picture McDonald's commercial. Just picture the double quarter pounder with cheese, and the patties is all sizzling, and the ketchup and the cheese is just oozing all off the burger. And they take the camera and they get right in on it. And you can see the steam coming off of it, and the French fries are just so golden, and they rip it in half so you can see how crunchy it is, and it looks good, it sounds good, and they turn the sizzle up on that patty real loud so you can hear it in the microphone. It sound good. That's what that is, man. With hitting you with that prosperity mindset, man, he don't want you sick, he wants you healthy. He don't want you poor, he wants you rich. And in the meantime, while you trying to get yourself rich, reach in your pocket and put your last $2 in that basket that's coming around.
And know for a fact that whatever you give, God is going to give it back to you tenfold. Whatever you give to God's house, He going to return back to you tenfold. You see, and it's like the thing is that I've always said this, and it's like you may recall me saying this on multiple occasions. If you take this rule and you apply it across the board, and it does not apply equally across the board, it's a bad rule. Mm-hmm. So if somebody hits you in an email and say, hey man, send me XYZ, or send me your account number and this, that, and the third, and in exchange, I'll deposit $50,000 into your account. If that doesn't make sense to you, then why does, God is going to just deposit some money into your account that you didn't earn because you gave me money?
Because you tired.
So it's like the logic behind that does not hold to be, it's nonsensical in nature. But because of the fact that faith is built in hope, it's not about the faith in God, it's the faith-based business.
Yeah.
It's the hope business. So we're going to title this as Hope Hustlers. And what happens is the fact that there are many hope hustlers. And it's not about indicating specific hope hustlers. It's about trying to help people understand that you can't take a shortcut to a long road. Most people who are wealthy for real, they had to come up with something. And people had to buy into that something. So if you're a wealthy pastor, well, guess what? Being a wealthy pastor, you had to develop your speech. You had to develop your ability to preach the gospel. You had to be convincing. You had to grow. You had to capitalize off of ideas. You had to be able to bring something to the table that the rest of the small guys would not bring to the table that helped you to grow into something bigger. You had to connect yourself with something bigger than yourself so that you could transition off. Mega churches didn't just start off as mega churches.
For sure.
They grew. They just were different types of businessmen and women that they are in the business of church. They understand what this is. This is a hustle. And in the hustle, and I'm going to say it, no matter what large church you speak about, I think all of them are full of crap. I'm just going to say this out there. Just feel the way that you feel. Insert name here. I'm not in the business of just randomly dissing people. I do believe that all mega churches are, they're all just glorified MLMs in a nutshell.
Yeah, they figured it out.
Yeah, they're just businesses. They're just business entities who have capitalized off of your inability to think for yourself. That you have this Bible that you could clearly read for yourself, but the pastor is an entertainer. He's a rock star. His band is amazing. His gospel team, whatever have you, is
The
they
choir.
spend big money on the glitz and glamour and the show, the uniforms, everything. Like, this is a show. You go to a 2-hour concert every Sunday. That's what church is. You go to listen to, like, basically you go to listen to your own version of Lil Wayne or Drake every Sunday inside this huge business, this huge arena where this man or woman has no idea who you are. They don't have any personal relationship, nor they have any desire to have a personal relationship. You have to go through XYZ chains. Look, what's different between him and any other CEO? The Postal Service, the Postmaster General's name is Louis DeJoy. He don't know who I am. He has no idea. Do you know how many chains of command I got to go through just to even sit in a room with him?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing at the mega church. You can tell me anything. But the reality of it is the fact that your business model is selling hope. Same thing with politics. Same thing when it comes to a lot of faith-based situations to where I'm believing that you have the right idea. So I go voting based on my belief that you have a better idea. That every
And I
last
think,
one of them fail you.
and I think what solidifies that thought is the fact that you do have other people around you to validate that thought. So it's like going back to what you said about the road, you know what I'm saying, taking shortcuts. I also believe in, and this is after you've done your thorough research and made sure that the road that you own is the right road. But when you see everybody going that way, everybody's walking that way, everybody's leading that way, why do we never ever stop to take a step back and look at where the road is going? You know what I'm saying?
FOMO.
Like,
FOMO. Fear of
why
missing
are we
out.
not looking at the exit signs and, you know what I'm saying, making sure that the road is going where it says it's gonna go,
The fear of missing out. You don't want to be the only person that's not there. Everybody's dumping their money into Bitcoin. Everybody's dumping their money into FTX. Everybody's dumping their money into Voyager. That's where I'm going because I don't want to be left on the end of the stick. Hey, Dogecoin is going to reach $1. There is 6 cents.
Yeah.
No offense to any of the Dogecoin holders and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's like we all have experienced riding a wave and wanting to believe that something was something other than what it is. It's like when we didn't look at the fact that the crypto boom was because there was all this free money, all this inflated money circulating around, and everybody was trying to get a quick payday, that one day the ride would stop. We didn't look at it and say, okay, well, eventually, like most things, it's going to regulate. So all the people who are hyperinflating the prices of their houses, eventually it's going to crash and burn. And when it does, the people who got in too late, they're going to be upside down in mortgages or whatever the situation is. But it happens over and over again. You have people who, the stock market crashed and hurt and pull all my money out at a loss. And then you got people like us who going, okay, cool, boom, let me go ahead and buy a whole bunch of that because I'm gonna take advantage at this. If you understand history, you know for a fact that stock market crash all the time. All this is a wealth transfer. That's all that's happening is a wealth
But you
transfer.
got to be well in tune, and you got to be well in tune to understand that and to know that, and to be able to see that and watch it happen. You know what I'm saying?
But that's my point right there. If you're well in tune with what the Bible actually says, then you know prosperity preaching is a farce. If you're well in tune with actually running the business and know the ins and outs of it, then you know that the prosperity mindset has good components to it. But you know that the vast majority, like there's no daily affirmation I'm going to say to myself that's going to make me a millionaire. You got to do the work.
Correct.
Now, it's good to walk into a situation and build your confidence up prior to you going into the situation rather than you constantly thinking about what if they say no, what if they say no, what if they say no. When you know already that it's like, I'm going to get 100 no's, all I need is that one yes. When you walk in with that mindset, then yes, it's easy because all you're doing is okay, you don't want it. I'm just going to get better at my pitch. I'm going to get better at my approach. I'm going to look for the holes in it. How am I dressed? How am I present myself? Do my breath stink? What am I doing that is off-putting for the reason why I'm not closing the deal the way that I'm trying to close the deal? Am I using too many urban colloquialisms? Am I presenting myself in the most professional manner possible? There's all these different attributes to learning how to tailor yourself to becoming a machine that's able to turn over on a consistent basis. So therefore, when it comes down to certain attributes of mindset, affirmation, whatever have you, they have their good components to it. However, the one thing about it is that because of the fact that I know that you're not going to do anything, I'm going to go ahead and post up affirmations on YouTube, get 7 million views on it, and I'm going to cash in on your inability to think for yourself.
That's a hell of a business model, man.
That's it. You got to think about it. Well, what we're doing right now, with us just saying this, there's a sector of the population who thinks like us, who may not be brave enough to say it. And they watch this, and they listen to this, and they clip it, and they share it, and they do whatever they do because they need validation that they are not crazy. But at the same time, somebody is listening to Pastor T.D. Jakes because he validates what's inside of their mind. I want to be rich. I want to be wealthy. I want to be this. I want to be that. Well, they give me a blueprint model. They say, do it this way. Well, guess what? Daymond John will tell you to do it this way. This person will tell you to do it this way. Shark Tank will tell you to do it this way. Shark Tank gives you a 10, 15-minute spiel of what's actually hours of a pitch.
Yeah.
Hours. You only get to talk about the nonsense as far as the numbers and the stuff like that, the entertaining parts. What you don't get a chance to see is the full layout of how everything came together. Like, you get to see the origin story, you get to see the tears and all the other stuff that's made for TV. What you don't get a chance to see is all the thorough breakdown of the development of this product, the patents, there's so many different nuances to a pitch where you're trying to get an
investor. The part is out. They cut the boring parts. They cut the boring parts.
Yeah. But see, the boring parts are the most
to the entertainment part.
Exactly. The boring parts, and again, it's like this is what makes a show what it is. The boring parts are the most important aspects of it because of the fact that they deal with all the technicalities to verify that you are who you say you are. But that's neither here nor there. So I'm going to go to a couple of things. You want to deliberate on any of what was said right then?
I mean, we pretty much hit the nail on the head, man. The most that we can actually offer for individuals is to really start taking, a lot of what these leaders are saying, what are these thoughters or thinkers, whatever you want to call them, and really start to
thought leaders, what I call
see how it really applies to you for real. Like, is what they saying that doesn't really make sense. And when you really start breaking down the actual prosperity mindset, the abundance hustle, how long have you been tithing and what have you got out of it? I really would like to see somebody come forth and actually explain like how they became extremely successful by simply just praying and tithing.
That's the thing about belief, right? Is that because it's tied and rooted into somebody's belief system, they believe that whatever wins they got was a result of that. So therefore, even though you put in the application and you went and got the education and stuff, that specific opportunity was because of God's favor. And if you didn't get the opportunity, it's because God has a better opportunity for you. It's a perfect mental screwing because it takes away all personal accountability and it puts it off on God. That if I didn't get it, it wasn't meant for me. If I did get it, it's because that was the one that God chose for me. but it was a result of something that I did to please God, not something I did to actually make myself a viable candidate. In a lot of the mindset, and a lot of the way that the mindset is developed is that there's absolutely nothing that you could have done, but there was something that you had to do. That makes sense.
So okay, so I mean that type of mindset and that type of ideology, thought, whatever, it's like it completely negates all of the hard work, all of the hours of struggle, or all of the hours of work. You know what I'm saying? Running a cash register, to studying your books, to pass all these crazy exams. Insert whatever circumstance here of putting in the massive amount of work and effort that it took for you to be able to, move into the slot that you in, land that job that you work so hard to get. It completely negates all of that. It ain't
Well,
had nothing to do with you at all.
well, here's the reality of it. The reality of it is that when you have been convinced that the same entity that gives you free will is also pulling the strings behind the scenes for your life, you just go with the flow. You gave me free will to make my own decisions. But if I make the wrong decisions, you're going to punish me. If I make the decisions the way that you want me to make the decisions, then you're going to grant me the world. You're going to grant me access to everything that I could possibly want. But you got free will.
But how do you know that that's the right decision? Okay, so check this out. So what's her name? Sha'Carri Richardson, right? Is that her last name, Richardson?
Yeah.
Okay, so you mean to tell me all the work and hours and struggle that she put in to train to run that 100 and blow everybody out of the water, all that massive amount of training, all that massive amount of work, all that massive fasting, whatever she's done to build up her body so that she could damn near be an Olympic champion. You know what I'm saying? So negate all the work God wanted me to win. So I won.
God gave her favor. He
God gave
blessed.
a favor.
He
So
blessed
that's
her.
almost like I could have ate Twinkies all day. If I was supposed to win, I would have won.
He blessed her with the physical ability, and all she had to do was tap in. And when she tapped in to her gift, when she tapped into her purpose, that's when she got the mindset that he gave her to develop her body and to go full throttle into her track and field career, because that was his gift. Because her success is intended to bring the glory back to God, to show people if you follow God's will, the greatness that you can achieve.